Now let's move on to 1813 Charter Act. Okay, Charter Act 1813. Now, we need to discuss about two provisions here. So the first one actually was asked in the last prelims. Okay, so the first provision was there was an end of monopoly. End of monopoly. See, till then East India Company was enjoying monopoly in trade with India and in products and in trade also. But now a lot of industries were established in England. A lot of emerging industrialists and capitalists is there in England, and they started bribing the parliamentarians and they passed this act in their favor because they are looking for market. Okay, so under this act, the monopoly of East India Company in India is actually ended, except in two items. The exceptions were trade in tea products and trade with China. Okay, so these were the two exceptions. Apart from this, the monopoly of East India Company over India actually ended. Now the second one is actually, and this is a milestone in education. So when we discuss about education, whether we are talking about essay, whether we are writing any general answer, whatever it is, we have to talk about these points when we are discussing about education. And the first step actually related to education actually happened in this 1813. The first step was the company was now directed to spend rupees 1 lakh for the purpose of betterment of education in those areas where they have control. Okay, so the company was directed to spend rupees 1 lakh for the purpose of betterment of education in their areas. Okay, so this is the first step that they have done related to education. So I'm not writing too much, just writing company was directed to spend rupees 1 lakh for education. Okay, then after this you can see certain other reforms. 1835, something which is very significant is going to happen, that we'll be discussing under macular minute, okay, or trickle down theory or downward filtration theory. And then we will see something happen in 1837 when the Persian was replaced with English as the official language, which is having huge impact when we discuss about 1857 revolt also, because most of the Muslims were participating in 1857 revolt because of this particular reason. You can see a lot of participation from Maulvis, Maulanas, etc., because they lost their job when English became the official language. So they thought that once the old system was replaced, they will be getting back their jobs and everything. Okay, so that is the reason why Muslims participated. So in 1837, that is having huge impact. We'll be discussing that. 1854, most important one, Wood's Dispatch, we'll have to discuss that. 1882, Hundar Commission. Like that, there are many things related to education. All these are milestones. And for all these, there were certain problems, and those problems are finally going to be solved in 1882 through Hundar Commission report. The commission. Okay, so we'll be discussing about that in the coming sessions. So just wait. I think I will be covering all these things in around five lectures. Okay, so we'll hardly take 5 lectures. Your entire history will be completed for sure. If you have any doubt, you can get in touch with me. This is my Instagram ID, so you can get in touch with me in this. Any doubts related to UPSC preparation, civil services exam, mentorship, sociology optional, okay, everything, you can get in touch with me. Now, see here, 1 lakh. These two are very easy points. There is no problem in remembering these 2 points. But what is difficult, or what is required is what would be the impact of 1813 Charter Act? If that question is asked, what you will write? See here, end of monopoly except in 2 items. Okay, now what is actually going to happen when we are discussing about end of monopoly? See, now we are end of monopoly means now more and more companies are going to come to India. Is that a good or bad thing for India? Now the government is actually, the Prime Minister is actually going abroad and inviting all the companies to come and invest in India, make in India, and all these things are going on. So exactly almost the same thing is actually happening here also. But the problem is, now we have a democratically elected government. We have our rules and regulations. If there is any problem, we can actually control everything. Everything is in our hand. But that time we don't have our own government. Okay, the government is not by Indians. So that was the biggest problem. So we couldn't control anything if anything goes out of the box. Okay, and what is going to happen is all these companies are going to pump the finished products in India, because industrial revolution is almost complete over there, and many companies are coming with finished products which are very cheap also, which are created by machines, Okay, and see, Manchester closed, Liverpool closed, and all these things. When it came to India, the life of artisans are totally ruined. Why? Because the products that the artisans are making is almost handmade products. It's not that finished like the products which are coming, and it is costly also. So local products became not competent in the market. So the life of artisans are totally ruined. And then till then we actually had a balance between industry and agriculture, okay, manufacturing and agriculture. But now that balance is going to be over. Now there is no further scope of development of industries in India. So what happened? The contribution, people have actually shifted to agriculture, and that's the reason why most of 60% of the people are actually employed in agriculture, despite the fact that hardly 14 to 15% contribution from agriculture in GDP. Okay, now that problem is even now continuing. So why manufacturing or industry is actually having very low share is because of this. There were no further scope of development of industries. But later when Swadeshi movement and all came, there was a boost, but still this problem was there even now also. Okay, so 1813 Charter Act, if you ask me what is the most important impact that led to deindustrialization in India. So this has to be there in your answer if the question is about 1813 Charter Act. The most important impact is it led to deindustrialization in India. Secondly, you can see all these artisans were participating in 1857 revolt because they lost their jobs and everything, right? They were totally against the English. So you can see different people are participating in 1857 revolt for different reasons. Artisans are participating because of this. Now, why peasants were participating? Peasants were participating because of high rate of taxation that I'll be discussing shortly when we discuss about permanent settlement, Rotwari settlement and Mahalwari settlement. Different rulers are participating because they lost their kingdoms. Okay, so different people were participating for different reasons. Had they won the revolt, what would have happened? This happened as a hypothetical question. Okay, but all those things we'll cover later. But I'm just telling you that 1813 Charter Act, the most important impact actually it led to deindustrialization in India. Okay, and secondly, you can see this has actually happened during the time of Minto 1, because there is another Minto is going to come, and then after Minto during 1813 to 23. It was Hastings, Lord Hastings, and you can see a tremendous shift in British policy after Lord Minto. That means during Lord Hastings' time. What was that shift in policy? See, till then they were actually happy with whatever the area they had, but now they are looking for more and more area. They are looking for political control in more and more areas. They started capturing more and more areas. They started fighting more and more wars. Why? Because once the monopoly is ended, many companies are going to come to India, and they are in need of raw materials, the cheap raw materials from India, and they are looking for markets also. For these two reasons, they felt that they need to have a control or a political control over the areas. Okay, so they started fighting wars, and you can see the third Anglo-Maratha war was fought, and the Marathas were totally crushed in that war. Okay, and Peshwa Bajirao too was deported to Vittur. All those things we'll have to discuss when we discuss about wars. Okay, why they were in need of that Maratha region? Because suppose a cotton factory was established in England, they were in need of cotton. So from where you get it? You get it from US, you get it from India, you get it from Egypt. So US already got independence from English, so they prefer from India. Otherwise it will be very costly for them. They have to import it. Okay, so they prefer India. And in India, in which region cotton is grown? It requires some conditions, right? That black soil, good soil is required. So this soil you can see in Deccan region. So they are in need of cotton, so they started annexing those regions. Okay, later you can see they were annexing Awadh, they were annexing Sindh. All these states were actually signed subsidiary alliance. We'll be talking about that. Okay, so second impact, that is also very important. They started expanding their territory because 1813 Charter Act is demanding so. Okay, because more and more companies are coming, they need markets, they need raw materials. Okay, so there was a shift in British policy, especially after 1813 Charter Act. Next we'll discuss 1833 Charter Act. Okay, see, under 1833 Charter Act, we will have to discuss about around 5-6 points, and the most important point is actually the Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India. Okay, see, when we're discussing 5 points here, all these are coming from different previous acts. So if you are clear with the 3 acts that we have discussed, this is going to be very easy for you. Okay, so Governor General of Bengal post was created in 1773 regulating act that became Governor General of India post now. Okay, so who was the first Governor General of Bengal? We have already discussed it as Warren Hastings. Who's going to be the last Governor General of Bengal? The Governor General during this time, he became the Governor General of Bengal, the last one. Okay, that is Lord William Bentinck. Lord William Bentinck was the last Governor General of Bengal. He automatically became the first Governor General of India. So Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Okay, so that is the first one. Second point is, we have discussed in 1784 Pitt's India Act that the Governor General of Bengal plus 3 members, 4 became 3. And this 3 is now once again is going to be increased to 4. Okay, so Governor General of India, that 3 member is once again is going to be increased to 4. So now it is 3 plus 1, that is 4. Decisions are again taken on the basis of majority. The same thing is applicable. Now this new member is known as law member. Okay, so his role is basically to advise the Governor General in legal matters. Okay, so he's going to advise the Governor General in legal matters. So his role is basically to advise the Governor General in legal matters, and the first law member was Lord Macaulay. When we discuss about Macaulay-Minute or downward filtration theory or trickle-down theory of education, we'll be referring to this person only. Okay, it is associated to this person. Third one, see here there is a change from 1773 regulating act, right? Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India. Here there is a change from 1784 Pitt's India Act that 3 became 4. Now here from 1813 there is a change. 1813 we have discussed that monopoly ended except in 2 items. So surviving 2 monopolies were there. That 2 surviving monopoly also ended. 2 surviving monopoly also ended. Okay, that means complete deindustrialization is going to happen. Then later I'll be discussing about 2 other points when we discuss about Lord Cornwallis. We'll talk about civil service reform, judicial reform. Okay, so civil services were actually introduced in 1793 by Lord Cornwallis, and he is known as the father of civil services. Okay, now when it was introduced in 1793, it was not through any open competitive exam, and it was not for Indians, it was only for Europeans. But in 1833 Charter Act, there was a provision, and based on that provisions, Indian can also enter into civil service. That provision was no discrimination should be made in the recruitment of civil services on the basis of sex, color, creed, place of birth, etc. Okay, so I'm just writing here, no discrimination in the recruitment of civil services on the basis of sex, color, creed, place of birth, etc. Okay, and the last point, 5th point that we need to discuss is, see, when we discuss about Lord Cornwallis, I'll be talking about judicial reforms. Shortly I'll be discussing that. And one of the judicial reformers, he established 4 Diwani courts. 4 Diwani courts at Dhaka, Patna, Calcutta, Murshidabad. And in this, the point is, the 4 Diwani courts which were established by Lord Cornwallis has to be abolished, and instead High Court to be set up. And this High Court you can see in 1857 in the 3 presidencies. We'll see later. But here there was a provision. So 4 Diwani courts which were at Dhaka, Patna, Calcutta, Murshidabad, which were established by Lord Cornwallis, were to be abolished, and instead High Court to be set up. Okay, so these are the 5 points that you need to remember under 1833 Charter Act. Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India. Lord William Bentinck was the last Governor General of Bengal and the first Governor General of India. Governor General of India, now Executive Council is once again increased to 4. The newly added member is the law member, and his role is basically to advise the Governor General in the matters of law. And the first law member was Lord Macaulay. Third is 2 surviving monopoly, also ended. 4th one, no discrimination should be made in the recruitment of civil services on the basis of sex, color, creed, place of birth, etc. 5th one, 4 Diwani courts which were established by Lord Cornwallis at Dhaka, Patna, Calcutta, Murshidabad were to be abolished, and instead High Court to be set up. So quickly, if you look into the 4 acts that we have discussed, I can quickly sum it up. 1773 Regulating Act. The Governor General of Bengal post was created along with 4 Executive Council members, and the first Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. The 4 members were Philip Francis, Richard Barwell, John Clavering and George Monson. The Governor General was appointed by the company, and the 4 members were appointed by the Parliament. Okay, and then we have discussed about Supreme Court. There was a provision of establishment of Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was actually established in 1774 at Calcutta, and the first Chief Justice was Justice Elijah Impey. And then we moved on to 1784 Pitt's India Act, and the first point that we have discussed is the Governor General of Bengal plus 4 became Governor General of Bengal plus 3, and I told you how the problems related to that majority is solved over there. Okay, and then we have discussed that a board of control has to be established in England with 6 members to control the affairs of East India Company in England. So the 3 members were sitting in India and regulating the company, the Governor General, and the 6 members, that is the board of control, were sitting in England and regulating the company. Then there was a provision of recall, through that the Parliament can recall any of its officials, including the Governor General. Then we talked about 1813 Charter Act. In that, the first point was end of monopoly of East India Company except in 2 items. That exceptions were trade in tea products and trade with China. The second point was the company was directed to spend rupees 1 lakh for the purpose of betterment of education in those areas where they have control. And then we moved on to 1833 Charter Act. There I have told you the Governor General of Bengal post became Governor General of India. The first Governor General of India was Lord William Bentinck. Governor General of India, now the Executive Council was once again increased to 4. The newly added member is the law member. His role is to advise the Governor General in the matters of law. The first law member was Lord Macaulay. Third provision was the 2 surviving monopoly also ended. Fourth was no discrimination should be made in the recruitment of civil services. Fifth was the 4 Diwani courts which were established by Lord Cornwallis at Dhaka, Patna, Calcutta, Murshidabad were to be abolished, and instead High Court to be set up. Okay, so I hope it is clear for all of you.